Hey yo, what up? What up? Fans of the fucking sport. What up? It's Lamech with Selah Sports TV. Coming at you with a different one today. Kind of related to sports in regards to ESPN, which is the worldwide leader in sports, allegedly, right? Uh and everything that's going on over there. I see a lot of people kind of looking in astonishment at what's going on as far as all the layoffs and people being let go at ESPN. So this video is going to address that because I haven't heard anybody really address what's really going on at ESPN. And I mean, they might be addressing what's going on, but they don't know why this is happening. So I'm going to break this down completely. And if you stick around to the end, you'll see how everything all ties together. Yeah, this is a sports channel, but you know, if you check the bio, we also talk about we can dig a lot deeper on a lot of other shit too. So this is one of them. This is definitely one of them. If you are a thinker, if you can think for yourself, if you have an open mind, I'm not asking you to be on some mystical, magical bullshit, but just, have an open mind. Be open to being wrong about some things. That's the key to wisdom. I've learned so much by being open to having my bubble bursted, and being wrong about shit. So uh, here we go. So ESPN, as we know, has gotten rid of a lot of people, a lot of high profile people, right? Um, you know, People like this guy, right? People like this guy, Max Kellerman, uh, generally well liked. Personally, I like Max Kellerman. On the show that he was on with Stephen A, I like Max Kellerman more than Stephen A. I also admit that Max Kellerman wasn't the most exciting guy on a show, on a debate show, right? So I see both sides of it, but personally, I identify more with Max Kellerman than Stephen A. Smith because I'm not all that yelling, screaming, hooting, and hollering. That's really not how I get down. Max Kellerman is the type of guy. He looks at the information. He's gonna give you a sober take. It's not gonna be over the top. And unfortunately, that's what TV, especially sports TV, has come to. So they gotten rid of guys like Max Kellerman. They have gotten rid of some of our favorites. Here we see Jeff Van Gundy, who is I mean every I don't know anybody who watched basketball who did not like Jeff Van Gundy. He was going to give you his honest take, right? There's no shill. There's no shill in Jeff Van Gundy, right? He's gonna tell you what he believes, even if it ruffles some feathers. That's what people like about him. That's what people like about him. Jeff Van Gundy is that guy, right? But as we see, he was one of the casualties of this ESPN layoff. Who are some other ones that were let go? Who are some other guys? This guy, right? This guy, Jalen Rose, right? Like I said, some of our favorites. And to me, I like Jalen Rose. I like him. I don't really pedestalize him. I hope I said that right, man. It's early, but I like Jalen Rose, man. He had some good takes. I don't necessarily agree with everything. I think sometimes he would play the game and you know say what people wanted him to say. Was a I don't think he was 100% totally real all the time. Too many times I've seen Jalen Rose, um, you know, make a strong take, and then a couple minutes later you see him coming back and apologizing. That type of shit. Like, say it, like when you do that, That's a compromise, brother. It is. But I'm not gonna slam Jalen Rose. I'm not. Like, I thought he was one of the better voices on that channel. I thought he was I thought he was good. I thought he was great for TV, great for ESPN, but he was one of those casualties. But what I guess the thing I'm most relieved about in regards to Jalen Rose is that uh, the guy is not a robot. Because at one time we thought this motherfucker, like, remember this shit? This was some spooky shit. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if you know, you know. But yeah, the guy's not a robot. You know why? Because robots don't get fired. So that's kind of a relief. I'm not, I ain't gonna hold you. But everybody didn't, it's not like ESPN just completely cleaned house. They did keep some people on board for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, they didn't get rid of everyone, you know. Um, let's get to it. ESPN is not the first. This isn't new, right? If you've been watching and paying attention to media for the last year and a half, changes have been happening all over mainstream media, right? Remember these guys? Remember those guys? Yeah, like back in 2020, that was like everybody's go-to for news. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it was. This was what everybody was on, right? But they've made some cuts too, and they started a while ago. You know, trust me, it's all gonna tie together. Gotta let the beat build, right? One of the casualties of CNN, Chris Cuomo, right? Chris cocksucker Cuomo. Um, he was one of the first guys to be let go from that station. Um, remember this guy? Actually, he's probably more of a cocksucker than Chris Cuomo, just by default. But I'm gonna just leave that there. I digress. But Don Lemon was also let go. This was kind of shocking to people because he was a big deal, you know, at at CNN. So my point is that it's not really about ESPN. It's more of a news thing. All right, we have to look at this as news and media. A lot of people don't realize that media in America is a branch of government, right? It's an unofficial branch of government. Oh yes, it is. So let's dig a little bit deeper. Uh, we see that this isn't new. This didn't start off with ESPN. Here we see Cuomo and his big bro Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of New York, right? He was let go as well. He was let go as well. Um, Second. It's not too late to show someone who's boss. He was let go as well as the governor. I believe he was removed, right, for some impropriety or another, But I'm here to tell you that whatever he was let go of is not the true reason that he was let go of. And I'm going to show you the real reason that Andrew Cuomo was removed as the governor. And you're probably like, damn, Lamech, what the fuck does this have with ESPN? Hang in there. This is the real reason that Andrew Cuomo was let go. Okay? They can't tell you this because if they say this, a lot of other things will get unraveled, right? A lot of other things will get unraveled. If you remember back to 2020 when what should I call this? You got to use so many code words with this thing. Remember the crandemic? Remember that crandemic of 2020 when that happened? And it was all scary and everything. And it was saying like bodies were just dropping in the streets. People were just unaliving everywhere. Everywhere you look, people were just dropping like flies and all that type of shit, right? One of the first things the president of that time, 45, did was send these ships off the coast, right? So that you could separate the sick from the people who were healthy, right? And get the sick people treated quickly. You know, uh, this is not conspiracy. This you see the ship right here, right? You can do your own research, and you'll see these ships off the coast of New York, off the coast of California. Ships were sent to treat these people who were allegedly were infected with the crandemic, right? So yeah, these ships were sent up there, but these ships were not being utilized. These ships weren't being utilized. These ships were empty. So they're on one hand, they're saying, "Oh, we got people bodies dropping like flies. Bodies dropping here and there by the thousands." Go back to the news of that time. They were lying and saying it was that much going on. That many people were dropping, right? At the same time, they weren't using the resources that they were given. So something's not adding up, right? And the reason why is because instead of utilizing these ships, separating people and everything, especially the elderly and the people who were already compromised, whose health might have had conditions that were compromised already, no, what they were doing is stuffing sick elderly in the old folks' homes, right? They were putting them right back in there, which we already know that's not gonna bode well. You know, they were keeping sick people mixed in with everyone else. And it just probably sounds a little clunky. Hopefully you're following what I'm putting down, because I have to say it this way because unfortunately we don't have completely free speech. Like if you say certain words, your video gets shadow banned and all that type of shit. So yeah, you gotta be able to think, right, to follow this one. This is a different type of video. Basically, it was bullshit. Okay, hopefully everybody gets that. The whole thing was fucking bullshit. Um, we had those ships were just sitting there instead of using them. You know, they were keeping everyone together. Um, we saw a lot of shit happen in 2020. But one thing we know about this country and what this country runs off of, and because it is, it's just a capitalistic society. One thing this country runs off is money, right? One thing we know is that this country needs money. Businesses need money, right? It's almost the bloodline of any company, any business. It has to have money flowing through it for that business to remain healthy, right? But in 2020, a lot of that shit went out the window. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Before we go back, before we touch on that, let's just touch on capitalism. Ugh, please, not communism. Capitalism, like supply, demand. If you work hard, if you work hard, work hard enough, and you can make a good living for yourself. That idea, the idea that you can start off at one point and work your way to another point in life, right? A higher point in life. That's only in capitalism. I don't know if people realize that, because I see a lot of ignorance and a lot of people who are misguided, and they're making capitalism into some sort of bad guy. Like, ooh, capitalism is evil and is greedy and all that. That's just people basically speaking out of ignorance. People speaking out of ignorance. I guess back in high school, they were stoned out of their minds, so they don't really remember the options, right? Now, I'm by no means saying that capitalism is perfect. Like, we're dealing with man-made systems. What the fuck is perfection? Right? When you talk about man-made systems and stuff like that, what is perfection? Of course, there's some ugly shit in capitalism. Capitalism has a lot of ugly stuff, like do anything to sell, sex sells, greed, all these things. But guess what? These concepts exist in any financial system that you use. So your eye level should be focused on, hey, which one provides me the most freedom, right? But that's not what we get. What we get is people nitpicking and saying, oh, because of this thing, I hate capitalism. Because of that thing, I hate capitalism. Because of this other thing, I hate capitalism. But nobody's weighing things out and looking at the options. Like some of these other systems, you know what I mean? One of the systems that's being pretty much shoved down your throat is the idea of socialism. And I know you don't realize it because people rarely realize the things that's right in front of their face. This is a representation of socialism. What do you notice? Everybody's below the fucking ground. Everybody's below the fucking ground. The only thing that's above ground, this is the government here. This represents government. This huge fucking fist that people are keeping up. That means you're busting your ass to prop up this government and whoever's up there. Right? It's a smaller percentage of winners. So we're calling capitalism greed, right? But we're not calling socialism greed when basically the winner circle is even smaller in socialism. So they reap more of the pot. Do you understand that? And we're going to talk about this fist symbol very shortly. But I'm really tired of people saying, oh, capitalism is greedy and all that. But you're in favor of socialism and you think that's not greedy because all these people down here are basically getting paid the same, peanuts, right? But you're not looking at up here. They're getting everything else. For instance, they're taking resources away from people here. Remember in California where they said, hey, you can't use water, right? You can't, the citizens can't use water. But the politicians were using the water. They didn't mind, like, only they could use water. They would close the churches. They would close barbershops, close hairdressers, right? Close beauty parlors. The citizens could not use the resources. But Nancy Pelosi would she's being filmed coming out of the beauty parlor, getting her hair done and shit. It's different rules. Do you understand that? That's why these people are below the line. Right? But we got a bunch of fucking woke know-it-alls who are basically propping up socialism. Like that's some sort of something we should be wanting to have. You know, I don't want that shit for my children. When you have socialism, you're basically putting a cap on what you can earn, you are subject to whatever the government says you rate. Whatever the government says you get, that's what you get. And if you remember back in 2020, that was the first taste of socialism / communism. Why do I say that? Well, because what happened? The government started sending out these checks, right? They started sending out checks. And people were so happy with that. So happy. Right? People were so happy with these fucking, this money. Not realizing that that's it. So you got two types of people. You got people who are okay with that. And it's like, oh, I got a check and I ain't got to work. But then you got a person that look at that check and it's like, all right, I got this check, but damn, I could be making so much more. This caps what I can make. I could be making so much more, but they shut down business. They shut down my fucking business. Right? You got people who look at it the opposite way. They look at that money as a hindrance. They didn't look at it as something to be celebrated. This is the symbol of communism. Socialism, I'm sorry. This is the symbol of socialism. And, you can interchange socialism to communism because socialism always leads to communism. If you know your history, socialism leads to communism, right? Socialism is the precursor to communism. That's what it is. Period, point blank in the fucking story. Why am I talking about that? Fist. Why am I talking about that? Look familiar? They put this shit right in your face, right? But the average person, I hate to say it, is an NPC, They couldn't think their way out of a paper bag. Everything that they think has to come from the TV, right? Or their favorite celebrity or some athlete or somebody else. Like no original ideas. Like Nas said, he had that song, "No idea is original. It's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done." Right? What you base your happiness around, material, women, a large paper. That mean you inferior, not major. Bars. But yeah. Striking resemblance. Huh? Striking. And see, back to this. This is why racial idolatry is not the move, right? I've never been I ain't gonna say never. I got caught up in it before. I got caught up in that racial idolatry before, but racial idolatry is not it. Because that shit can be used against you. Like if you a brother, if you a man, do you think this movement is for you? If your back is straight, I'm gonna say it that way. If you a straight back man, you already know this movement ain't for you. This movement ain't for you unless you got purple hair, right? A dress, rainbow hair, red hair, green hair, pocketbook, skirt, high heels type shit. Then this movement, you can claim this movement. Otherwise, this is not your movement. But the racial idolatry, it's like it sounds good. Ooh, Black Lives Matter. And they make you feel like, yeah, this is powerful. No, that's your racial idolatry getting you caught up in some shit that ain't even for you. And the people that created it are wise enough to know that if a simple thinker would get caught up in that bullshit, that was the play, right? That was the whole fucking play. What else happened back in 2020? Lots of shutdowns, right? So many people lost their businesses. I can recall just friends, people that I know, like so many people lost their businesses because they couldn't do business. There's never been a point. You think that's the first time this country has faced a pandemic? I'm talking about real pandemics. Look up Spanish flu. Look up the Spanish flu, I believe of 1917. Look that shit up. Right? And just on a side note, just on a little side note, the president, 45, he was called xenophobic and racist and all this stuff because he came up with the term Wuhan virus, right? Well, in 1917, it was called the Spanish virus, Spanish flu. And that's where it came from. And that's what it is, right? That was just a little side note. But my point is that we've had real pandemics where people really were dropping like flies. Not allegedly, not media constructed bullshit. I'm talking about real. It was real. People were really falling, right? Businesses didn't shut down. Like, this is America. We fight through stuff and we maintain our way of life. We don't let anything change our way of life. The way of life is everything. Your way of life is everything. But anyway, that happened. Now, anything that I say that's not true, you feel free to drop it in the comments and say, hey, Lamech, that's bullshit. Or, hey, Lamech, I disagree with this because of that. Or that's because of that. Right? But this is why I'm showing images, because it's hard to refute an image. You can give me your opinion all day, but fuck your opinion when you're looking at the picture, looking right at it. You know, yes, I understand pictures can be interpreted differently by different people. But here's another one. Look, closed due to what? Yeah. See, a lot of people had to shut down their businesses because of this shit. This business is the bloodline of this country. Right? Now, we're going to work our way back to ESPN because it didn't stop there. Right? This is Disney, who we know owns ESPN. Yeah, they had to shut down as well. Right? They had to shut down as well. Or they shut down. I ain't gonna say they had to, but they shut down. And this is in a state, Florida, the state didn't shut down. But Disney, because they're part of that group of people, that group of they're part of that group, Disney shut down. They had, just to keep the facade going. Shut down, right? So all that revenue from Disney, they didn't get it for over a year. Or however long they were shut down. Disney closed. That's never happened. Like during that time. Like when that thing happened in 2020, what are we talking about? We're talking about spring through summer, right? And it's Florida, so people can go there at any time, really. It's not gonna be cold there. So yeah, like it was bad, very bad for business. And it's gonna eventually catch up. It catches up to any business. It catches up to any business. You know, I'm just not a surface guy. So it bothers me. It kind of gets on my nerves when I see when I see people being willfully ignorant or just ignorant. You know, people acting like everything is on the surface. That's not it. Remember this shit? Like, who knows what little man right here just got in his arm? Who knows what that shit was? That whole play. It was a whole fucking play. A lot of y'all rushed out and did that shit because you fell for the marketing scheme. They said something on the news. They scared the shit out of you. And then next thing you know, you're at the doctor's office getting some shit, some vanilla shake. I'm going to just call it that. You're getting that vanilla shake pushed into your arm. Right? Y'all did that. Y'all did that shit. I mean, this next one, man. It was so bad. You had people riding in their cars with face masks on, right? Windows up, face mask on. This person had somebody in their car with them. But I've seen people driving alone in their car with a fucking face mask on. Driving up, letting some stranger with a mask on jab him in the arm with whatever the fuck is in that. To me, that is fucking insane. You don't know who this person is. They don't have this person don't have an ID, nothing. There's no identifier. It's just some stranger putting something in your arm. You don't know if this person really works. That's not your doctor. And none of that shit. None of that. That's weird. That's fucking weird. And these were the people who felt like they had the high ground to These are the people that had basically the high ground to go after other people for not doing it. Right? Those are the people that be the most triggered when you say, "Nah, I don't think I'm not gonna do that." Well, those are the people that's calling you selfish. Those are the people that's calling you names and disrespecting you because you don't know enough about that to be for like you don't know enough about that vanilla shake shot to put it in your body blindly like that, like they did. Those are the ones that canceled you, right? God forbid you be a pro athlete and say, I just don't feel comfortable with that. You get paid to use your athleticism. You don't want to be putting something in your arm that's going to have you falling out on the court, basically, like a lot of people did. I know the press doesn't like to cover it, but go back and look at all the athletes who drop like flies while playing this sport, and some while not playing this sport, right? If you're looking out for your health, because as an athlete, your body is your number one investment, right? So anybody that said, nah, that ain't for me. Oh, those guys almost lose their career. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Like the level of fuckery that we went through at that time. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. You had people on social media telling us their business, being so it's like childish. Telling us their business. I don't give a fuck what you got. It's like, yeah, I got it. Yes. It's like some sort of badge of honor. Some sort of badge of honor. So you put this on your profile, like on your profile pic, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm part of the club. Man, people are fucking stupid, man. Just simple, right? All of that shit happened in 2020. But then something very weird to me and weird to a bunch of other people. Something weird happened in 2020. At the end of 2020, this happened. Right? This happened. This guy got inaugurated as president, right? Somebody want to tell me what this is? I see the marks on it, but do you really think that's a Bible? Who thinks this is a Bible? If you think this is a Bible, type Bible in the comments. I'm going to say no. When you look at how big this book is and how many pages are in it, the Bible isn't that big. It's just not. Unless the writing is like, if it has some huge kindergarten style writing, which I doubt, then okay, fine. But who thinks that this is what it's made up to be? Type it in the comments. But anyway, that's not even the point of this. The point is, at the end of 2020, homeboy got inaugurated, and then right after that, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna just call it Kobe baby. Kobe baby must have got scared and got the fuck out of Dodge, because Kobe baby, as soon as the election was over, Kobe baby was gone. It was magical. It was like just like that. Boom. This guy raised his hand and mumbled through his bullshit. And then Kobe, we didn't hear about it no more. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? So all the shots, it was only about maybe about 50 to 55% of people who got the V shot, the vanilla shake shot. There was only about 50 to 55 people, maybe less than that, right? Maybe less than that. But you're telling me that that's the shit, the Kobe baby just evaporated that fast, right after the election. If you went and got the shot, look, I'm not trying to upset you. I'm not trying to trigger you. None of that. This is the truth. And maybe you'll learn to take your time, right? Take your time next time. Don't be running out. You can't be scared. You can't live in fear. Like anything that happens on this planet, we have a cure for it, a natural cure for it. The Most High wouldn't have it any other way. You think the Most High is going to have us put some unnatural bullshit in our system and that's the only way we can live? That will never be the case. That will never be the case. People will always, do people die of things? Yes, they do. But there's nothing that's just going to come and wipe everybody out. It's not. We have a thing called herd immunity here. We have a thing called herd immunity, and that's a gift from the Most High where, the more you expose to something, your body becomes immune to it. Right? That's why when you get a flu shot, it's basically giving you the flu. Why is it giving you the flu? So that you can be immune to it. Now, I'm not talking about this new shit. I'm talking about the old ones. None of that shit is really, I'm not a real big fan of any of those V shots. But that's the traditional way that they were used. To acclimate your body to a thing so that it could be acclimated to it and it wouldn't knock you out. Right? But yeah, man, 2020 shit. I guess Kobe baby in 2020 was like, fuck that. I'm out. Right? I am out. So yeah, if you picking up what I'm putting down, all this shit was because of this guy. See, that guy. All this shit was because of him. Trying to get rid of one guy. All these plays was to try to get rid of one guy. Damn, Lamech, that's kind of, why would you say that? That's kind of a stretch, brother. Well, the reason why I said it is because of what I just said, how everything played out. Now, if you go back to when 45 was in there, right? And then, the thing happened with the crandemic happened, right? What was the first thing that they said? Oh, we got to have mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots. We got to have mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots. Let me tell you what fucking mail-in ballots are. It's a trash can being stationed outside of various buildings across the whole country with a paper ballot that was sent out. Like, I know that year I got about 10 ballots myself because that year I had a P.O. box that year, right? I was using the P.O. box. My P.O. box had at least 10 mail-in ballots in it. 10 of them. That's just me. I can only imagine how many other people were getting. I don't know. I don't claim to know. I know what I got, though, and I can speak on that. So back to mail-in ballots, we got these trash cans where you just fill out the ballot and drop it in, right? There's no identifier. There's no ID. There's no checks and balances. These things were coming in. They were being printed off overseas. We had people from Italy, people from Israel, people from China, people from all over the world voting in our election. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Now, I don't give a fuck what side of the fence you on politically. That should, if you care about this country, if you care about where you and your children live, are gonna live, like after you're gone, your offspring, that should piss you off. Because I'm gonna tell you something. It don't really matter if people are voting on your side or not, right? If the votes are coming in to back you up or not, it doesn't matter. The point is, when people vote who aren't supposed to be voting, non-citizens, it pretty much devalues your vote. Your vote becomes meaningless. They don't need your vote. They don't need your vote, right? That's why when Ice Cube basically had his plan for I forget what he called it, plan for Black America, and he sent it over there to them guys. That's why it was such a big deal. Biden pretty much, he's like, I don't need your vote. Biden administration and they don't need your vote anymore. Why don't they need your vote? They got illegal immigrant votes, right? They got international votes. So what they need your vote for? They don't need your vote. They don't. But I get it. Most people are not gonna think that deeply. They're not gonna think that deeply. So yeah, this was all about getting 45. The whole thing was about getting 45 out of there. Right? And unfortunately, the masses, not everybody, but so many, too many, millions and millions and millions and millions of people fell for this shit, hook, line, and sinker. I even seen a lot of YouTubers, a lot of popular ones, right? Fell for the shit. Of course, everybody's so proud. Like, nobody's going to say, you know what? I was wrong. Nobody answers up to anything. They just move right along, right? They just keep moving on and, they want people to keep listening to me. But to me, contrition is a big thing. Contrition is powerful. It's okay to say you're wrong about something. It's okay to say you're wrong. You don't have to grovel and none of that shit. But damn, like, you just went on the internet and basically browbeat a lot of people. Well, you're not getting the shot, and like vilified a lot of people. And come to find out that people that didn't get it were right and you were wrong. But you just keep right on going, with the blinders on. Doesn't really matter to me. I didn't get it, so I'm not the one. I'm not worried about no health problems, none of that shit. I mean, any health problem, put it like this: any health problems that come my way, it won't be because of that. Right? Now it's time to tie this back to ESPN. When you do people that way, like I said, we have a proud people here in America. I don't know if we're always proud over the right things. I see people being proud and having pride over all types of weird shit, right? But the point is, people are proud. Very proud. Sometimes too proud for their own good, right? I've kind of just spoke on it. Like, a lot of people, they're not going to say, you know what, I was wrong. But one thing they will do is turn off the fucking news. One thing they will do is turn off the news. Like, in 2020, we had to deal with a lot of fake shit. Like, damn near everything in that year was fake. Kobe baby was fake, right? When the guy that looks like Steven Jackson had that knee on his neck, and due to whatever he had in his system, he how am I gonna say this? When he expired right there on TV in front of everybody. Now, I'm not that was fake. Now, when I say it's fake, the cop was 100% guilty, but that cop was guilty of negligence. He wasn't guilty of murder. The guy didn't die of asphyxiation, right? He didn't die from getting choked. He didn't die from a broken neck. He didn't die from any of that. He died from whatever was in his system. Now, why the cop is guilty is because that guy needed medical attention, and he didn't give him that right. You have a right to medical attention, and he should have given him that. You put that guy in an ambulance when he's asking for it before anything happens, he's still gonna go to jail afterward. I don't see why you have to keep him down there like that. So none of you super wokey motherfuckers get on here and say, you're making excuses for. No, I'm not. I'm saying, let's get the charge right. Negligence, not murder. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, the NBA Finals was fake that year too. Even that was fake. They had to get LeBron another championship. Right? Everything, damn near everything we saw that year was fake. And then, of course, the election. I already explained how that went, right? And why. Bunch of fake shit. I know a lot of y'all, hate Trump and all that. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Look at where things are now. Right? You had a guy in there who actually was writing stuff specifically for the black community. Meanwhile, the guy who was in there before him, if you can remember, President 44, everybody gave him the excuse, well, he can't just get in there and do stuff for black people. He can't do that. Soon as 45 gets in there, he's writing stuff specifically for black people. He did it. He did what y'all said couldn't be done. And he also did stuff for the entire country. Lowered unemployment. Best economy ever. Look it up. Go look it up. But when he was doing that, you couldn't tune out the news, right? You couldn't tune it out. You couldn't see the numbers because the news kept telling you something different. The news kept telling you Russiagate and this thing and that thing and that, and you sucked it all up. Pause. Yeah, I'm taking you down memory lane. So yeah, this picture, people basically turned off the news. They might not have said too much, but the news became an afterthought at that point. There's no need to watch it. Like, people got tricked into getting something they didn't need. Right? They got suckered and scared into getting something they really didn't need. Not only did they not need it, something that really could be harmful to them. People did that. And after that, lots of news ratings went into the tank. Right? So, I ain't gonna hold you to, make a long story short, you're probably gonna get another chance very soon, right? If you like the video, go ahead and bang off on that like button one time. Peace.